Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bill. In today's video we are in the fantasy trip, In the Labyrinth by Steve Jackson Games. This is the continuation of the talents video, so I believe this is part 3. Either way, this is the last of the talents. We're looking at talents for IQ 13 and talents for IQ 14 in this video. So without further ado, let's see what the options are for the IQ 13 talents. The first one is Chemist. It'll cost 3 points to learn it. A chemist is familiar with all the formulations on the chemical table and with access to proper books, materials, and facilities can make them. A chemist can also identify any of the potions by smell on a roll of a 3 dice versus IQ. He only gets 1 try. If he makes the roll, he will know the potion, if it is a chemical one. If it is an alchemical one, he will know that and only that. If he misses the roll, the chemist will be uncertain. If he misses badly, he will be mistaken, and the GM will lie to him. Or he will suffer the bad effects, if any, of the potion. Non-chemist may not even try. Master Fencer costs 3 points. Equivalent of a weapon master specifically for fencing weapons, rapier, saber, main gaunch. Your basic dex must be at least 14, and your armor may not reduce your adjusted dex below 14 when you use this ability. Bonus. From Mastery, do not stack with those from Expertise. Bonus to damage. A master does +2 damage on each attack with the rapier, saber, or main gaunch. And then bonus to defend. All melee attacks against a master who has weapon in hand are at a -3 dex. If an expert chooses the defend option, attackers must roll 2 extra dice when attacking. I assume that meant to say master instead of expert. Disarming. Against a weapon of the same type or any weapon requiring the same or less strength as its own, a master may strike to disarm. Announce the attack is to disarm and make a regular to hit roll. On a success, the foe must roll 3 dice versus dex, 2 dice versus dex for expert foes, and automatic for masters, to retain their weapon. Otherwise, it is dropped. 2 weapons. The master has 2 weapons talent for fencing weapons only. Shrewd Thrust. A master may attack at -3 dex and do an extra 1d6 + 2 of damage. Prerequisite for this talent is Fencer and a dex of 14 or more. Master Mechanician costs 2 points. A person with this talent is a natural gadgeteer and has the best chance of figuring out a technological device. He can also build gunpowder weapons, siege engines, crossbows, etc., in the way an armorer builds ordinary weapons. A master mechanician can also build a trap more quickly. It takes him only half the time it takes a mechanician, or a quarter of the time if he is assembling an existing trap in a new place, i.e. if the trap was removed from one spot and then reassembled in an identical fashion elsewhere. This talent must be learned from the Mechanician's Guild. The prerequisite talent for this talent is Mechanician. Mathematician costs 2 points. This is the knowledge of math below the calculus level, so algebra, geometry, possibly some trigonometry, and accounting. This ability also takes astronomy and astrology. Mathematicians are always in demand as accountants, teachers, etc. A mathematician who is in business for himself earns an extra 10% profit because he is capable of effective cost accounting and or cheating on taxes. Prerequisite literacy. Since math and magic are closely allied, this talent costs only 2 points for a wizard, just like a hero. Scholar costs 3 points. Will recognize any language, even if he doesn't speak it, on a 3-die roll versus IQ. Common languages will be automatic. Can teach, research, etc., and will receive respect +1 on any rare action roll in all civilized areas. If he speaks a language, he will speak it well, as though he were a native. Knows a good deal about history and about customs of the various races and peoples, and can, on a 4d6 roll versus IQ, make a very good guess about the origin of most artifacts or objects. The prerequisite for this talent is literacy. Strategist costs 2 points. Knowledge of military history, theory, and practice. Ability to command a military force in the field. If a strategist is in command of a party, the party gets a +2 on all initiative rolls in combat. Prerequisites, tactics, and at least 2 years of military experience. Unarmed Combat 4 costs 3 points. It's like Unarmed Combat 3 except for the following. Punch does 1d6 extra damage with bare hands in either hand-to-hand or regular combat. Kick in regular combat. Roll to hit at your adjusted dex and do an extra 1d6 +1 of damage compared to your bare hand attacks. Throw, you may shield rush without a shield. Use the shield rush rules, but the opponent's roll to defend is on 4 dice. If your target falls, they take 2 HP damage. Armor does not protect, and you may immediately move on top of them to attempt hand-to-hand. Evade. You have a natural eyes behind, like the spell, at all times. Your side hexes count as front hexes, and your rear hex counts as side hexes. Hand-to-hand weapon attacks from all your front hexes are at a -2, and the damage done to you is reduced by 2 hits per attack, so DR of 2. If you take the defend option, your attacker must roll an extra die to hit you. Prerequisite is Unarmed Combat 3, dex of 13 or more, and strength of 11 or more. Weapon Mastery costs 3 points. Mastery is a separate talent for each weapon talent. For instance, a Master Swordsman gets no bonus with axes or maces. Mastery with the dagger is also separate from Mastery with the sword. Bonus from Mastery do not stack with those from Expertise. Bonus to damage. A Master does +2 damage with a weapon of the type, including thrown attacks if the weapon is throwable. Bonus to defend. All melee attacks against a Master who has the weapon in hand are at a -2 dex. If a Master chooses the defend option, attackers must roll 2 extra dice when attacking. Disarming. Against a weapon of the same type or any weapon requiring the same or less strength as his own, the Master may strike to disarm. Announce the attack is to disarm and make a regular to hit roll. On a success, the foe must roll 3 dice versus dex, 2 dice versus dex for expertise if they have it, and automatic for Masters to retain their weapon. Otherwise, it is dropped. Shrewd Blow. A Master may attack at a -4 dex and do an extra 1d6 +2 of damage. Prerequisites. Appropriate weapon expertise, a dex of 14 or more. IQ 14 talents. So we're now looking at the IQ 14 talents. And there is not very many of them. But it starts with alchemy. It costs 3 points to learn it. This highly complex discipline involves both chemical and magical knowledge. Therefore, it costs 3 IQ points, or 1,500 XP, to any figure, hero or wizard, who wants to learn it. An alchemist is familiar with all the formulas on the alchemical table, and with access to the proper books, materials, and facilities, can make them. An alchemist can also identify any alchemical potion on a roll of 3 dice versus IQ. He gets only 1 try. If the potion is a chemical one, he will learn that and only that. if he succeeds on the roll. On a barely missed IQ roll, the alchemist will be uncertain what the potion is. On a badly missed roll, he will be mistaken and or suffer ill effects, if any, of the potion he tried to identify. Non-alchemists may not even try. Disguise costs 2 points. The ability to impersonate others. It takes about an hour to disguise oneself, less if it's a simple disguise. Each minute, the GM rolls against the disguised character's IQ to see if he is detected. 6 dice if he is impersonating someone wholly dissimilar, like a goblin impersonating a giant, or someone known to those he's trying to fool. 4 dice for a creature of a different species than his own, or a member of the opposite sex. 3 dice for an ordinary disguise. On a very simple disguise, like putting on old clothes and going into a tavern in an enemy city to see what the rumors you can pick up, the GM need not roll at all. If you have this talent, you won't slip on a simple job. If a wizard casts a glamour or shape shift to perfect your physical appearance, you roll 1 fewer dice. If you have the mimic ability and know the language, you roll 1 fewer die. If you don't know the language, you'd better keep your mouth shut. If your disguise is penetrated, those you are attempting to fool may attempt to seize you. But if they are very smart, they will string you along, pretending to be fooled to see what advantage they can gain. GM should be creative here. Master Bard costs 2 points. Prerequisite, Bard. A Master Bard can sing very well, play all manner of musical instruments, and compose songs and poetry to please his listeners. A Master Bard receives an automatic +2 on all reaction rolls where he speaks the reacting creature's language, and a +1 on rolls made to determine reactions even when he does not speak the language or when animals are involved. Master Physicker costs 2 points. You must already be a Physicker. A Master Physicker can heal 3 damage instead of 2 if he has a kit, or 1 damage even without a kit. Either way, it takes 5 minutes. Treatment by a Master Physicker is not cumulative with treatment by a Physicker for any one mishap. That is, if you have both a Master Physicker and a Physicker in your party, you can't use them both together to cure 5 hit points of damage. The Master Physicker can cure 3, and the Physicker can watch and learn. Note, either a Physicker or a Master Physicker can work on his own wounds just as he can another's. A Master Physicker can also make the healing potion, as though he were an alchemist. Theologian costs 2 points, like Priest, except more so. This is the level of ability needed to be a High Priest or similar character. Prerequisite, Priest. If the GM is giving Priests any special abilities or bonuses, a Theologian should get about twice as much. Unarmed Combat 5 costs 4 points. It's the Mastery of Martial Arts, and it's the same as Unarmed Combat 4, except Punch does 1d6 plus 1 extra damage with bare hands in either hand-to-hand or regular combat, or can make 2 rapid blows against the same or different foe at no dex penalty with 1 extra die of damage each. Kick. In regular combat, roll to hit at your adjusted dex and do an extra 1d6 plus 2 points of damage compared to your bare hands attack. Throw. You may shield rush without a shield using the shield rush rules, but the opponent's roll to defend is on 4 dice. If your target falls, they take 2 hit points, and armor does not protect. So they'll take 2 damage, is what I should say. And you may immediately move on top of them to attempt hand-to-hand combat. Evade. All your hexes count as front hexes. Hand weapon attacks from adjacent hexes are at a -2, and damage done to you is reduced by 3 points per attack. If you take the defend option, your attacker must roll 2 extra dice to hit you. Nerve blows. Declare that you're punching to disarm and roll at -4 dex. If your target takes more than 3 points of damage, he is hit on a nerve and automatically drops his weapon. Prerequisite is unarmed combat 4, a dex of 14 or more, and a strength of 12 or more. And that is all the talents. So the next series of videos similar to this that I'll be doing will be the spells. So look forward to that, guys. Until we all game again.